Have you ever stepped into a room and felt the atmosphere shift before anyone said a word? As if your energy arrived ahead of you, rearranging the air itself? That isn't imagination. That's your aura, your unseen field of presence. And sometimes it's so strong, it stirs what others are not ready to face. There's something unforgettable about you, and it's not always tied to your words, actions, or even your physical appearance. Some people seem to disappear the moment they walk away, but not you. You leave an imprint, an energetic echo that lingers long after you're gone. This happens because your aura carries a depth that people may not consciously recognize, but they definitely feel. Your presence holds emotional weight, shaped by your life experiences, the truths you've embraced, and the energy you've integrated. Carl Jung described this as the self, a whole, balanced state where your inner and outer worlds align. And when you operate from this alignment, people sense something real in you, something rare. They may not remember what you said, but they'll remember how they felt in your presence. You don't just occupy space, you change the atmosphere around you, and that is never forgotten. Your energy field doesn't go unnoticed. It reaches into the emotional core of those around you. Some people feel immediately empowered in your presence. They become more open, more expressive, even courageous. It's as though your energy reminds them of who they really are beneath their layers of conditioning. But for others, it's the opposite. They feel uneasy, defensive, or even irritated, and they may not understand why. What's happening is energetic reflection. Your aura brings up what's been buried in others, forgotten dreams, unhealed wounds, repressed truths. Carl Jung called this the shadow, the parts of ourselves we deny or reject. When you walk into a room fully aligned and authentic, your light unconsciously exposes those shadows in others. It's not something you do, it's something you are. And while this can make others uncomfortable, it's also what makes your presence so transformative and ultimately healing. Animals don't speak in words, and children don't filter reality through logic the way adults do. Instead, they feel energy. That's why when your aura is pure, grounded, and sincere, these beings trust you instantly. A dog may sit quietly at your feet. A baby might lock eyes with you as if they recognize something ancient in your soul. Even trees and birds seem to acknowledge your presence when you walk mindfully through nature. This isn't magical thinking, it's vibrational communication. Carl Jung believed that the unconscious mind is symbolic and instinctual, much like animals and children. They pick up on emotional resonance, not appearances. When your aura is in harmony, you're broadcasting truth. You're not hiding behind masks or roles, and that level of transparency is soothing to those who still live close to the source. In their presence, your energy is seen, felt, and embraced as real. You may be soft-spoken, kind-hearted, and humble, yet people sometimes react to you with tension, defensiveness, or even quiet hostility. Why? Because when your aura is rooted in truth, it highlights what others are trying to conceal. Carl Jung described the persona as the mask we wear to be accepted by society, and the more someone relies on that mask, the more threatened they feel when confronted with authenticity. You're not trying to provoke anyone. Just existing as your genuine self can feel like a challenge to those who aren't ready to face their own disconnection. Your presence reminds them of the freedom they haven't claimed, the truths they've ignored, and so, they may label you as arrogant, aloof, or intimidating, even when your heart is open. But the reaction isn't about you. It's about the fragility of the illusions they're clinging to. You shine light where others fear to look. You may not even notice it, but the room notices you. The moment you enter a space, subtle shifts begin to occur. People sit differently, conversations slow down or become more focused, Some may even turn to look, without knowing why. This isn't about charisma or attention-seeking. It's about energetic resonance. Your aura carries coherence, which is the alignment between your inner truth and outer presence. That coherence vibrates outward and interacts with the unspoken atmosphere. Energy healer Barbara Brennan described the human energy field as an information system that interacts with everything around it. Carl Jung called this symbolic presence. Your being communicates symbols and emotions that affect the unconscious of others. Simply put, your aura doesn't enter quietly. It recalibrates the environment. It doesn't demand change. It invites it. That's why even in silence, even in stillness, you're felt deeply. You become the tuning fork that resets the room. You often sense things before they happen. You feel tension in the air, notice a shift in someone's energy, or sense when a space just feels off, even when everything looks perfectly normal. That's not overthinking. That's vibrational intelligence. Your aura acts as a receptor, finely tuned to the emotional and energetic frequencies around you. Carl Jung believed the unconscious speaks through symbols and sensations, and you've become fluent in that silent language. You don't need backstories or logic to know when someone is pretending or when a space carries unresolved energy. Your intuition isn't mystical fluff, it's grounded in awareness and subtle perception. This gift protects you, guides you, and sometimes overwhelms you. Because when you see through masks and feel what others can't name, the world becomes loud in ways most people will never understand. Still, it's a strength, not a burden, an awakened sense that leads from truth. You've probably felt drained after conversations that go nowhere. Weather, gossip, surface-level chatter. It's not that you're antisocial, it's that your energy doesn't align with pretense. Your aura demands presence, and when presence is absent, your spirit starts to wither in silence. Small talk often acts as a shield to avoid depth, to maintain comfort zones, but your frequency doesn't thrive in zones of avoidance. You're wired for realness, for conversations that nourish, explore, and reveal. Carl Jung emphasized integration of the unconscious for wholeness, but superficiality is fragmentation. It's avoidance dressed up as normalcy. So while others may feel fine skating on the surface, your energy longs to dive deep. As a result, you may feel alone in crowded rooms, bored in lively conversations, or emotionally distant in relationships that lack truth. But when you do find real connection, you light up, because your aura knows the difference. People often see in you things that have nothing to do with who you truly are. Some may idolize you, others might instantly distrust or dislike you. It's not personal, it's projection. Carl Jung taught that the shadow contains everything we've suppressed to be accepted. And when your aura is whole and authentic, it brings these repressed elements to the surface in others. Without intending to, you reflect their fears, longings, and denied traits back to them. They don't see you, they see themselves. This can be both empowering and painful. You might be blamed for emotions that aren't yours, or misunderstood for reasons you'll never fully know. That's why it's crucial to recognize, not everything that comes at you belongs to you. Learn to filter the feedback, not to shut down, but to stay intact. Because the clearer your light becomes, the more shadows it will naturally awaken. You've likely noticed that even when you're silent, people feel your presence. It's not because you're trying to stand out, but because you're fully present in yourself. Your silence isn't empty. It holds energy, depth, and awareness. It communicates things words cannot. In fact, in moments when others are speaking just to fill space, your quiet becomes a mirror. Carl Jung spoke of symbolic presence, when someone's being transmits deeper meaning than any verbal explanation could. You don't need to justify yourself or impress anyone. Your grounded stillness speaks of confidence, of self-trust, of coherence, and that can be more compelling than any speech. Loud personalities might attract attention, but they often lack magnetism. You, on the other hand, hold space. You shift atmospheres without uttering a word. In a noisy world, your silence is not absence. It's a powerful declaration. I am whole, and that wholeness makes others lean in. It's not uncommon for someone you've just met to suddenly open up to you. They may begin to share private stories, deep emotions, or long-held pain, and they often don't know why. You're not prying, you're simply holding space. Your aura creates an energetic sanctuary where masks feel unnecessary and vulnerability feels safe. Carl Jung explained that the unconscious always seeks expression, and when it senses a stable field that won't judge or manipulate, it speaks. You are that field. You're not trying to fix anyone, you just listen with your whole presence. Your energy says, it's okay to be real here. And in today's world, that's rare. So people lean into you, they cry, they confess, and afterward, they often say, I don't know why I told you all that. But you know, because your aura doesn't demand vulnerability, it allows it. And that's healing in itself. You don't try to be different, you just are. You live on your own terms. You follow your truth even if it's unconventional. And while this might seem harmless to you, it can make others deeply uncomfortable. Your freedom highlights their chains. Your authenticity reveals their performance. Carl Jung believed that society often demands conformity, encouraging people to suppress their true nature for approval. But you didn't buy into that script. Your life challenges theirs without saying a word. You don't need to point fingers. Your existence becomes a silent question. Why are you still pretending? And for many, that question is unbearable. So they label you rebellious, arrogant, strange. But deep down, they feel something else: envy, curiosity, perhaps even longing. Because in you, they see a glimpse of what it's like to be untamed. Your energy doesn't threaten people. It threatens their false selves. And not everyone is ready for that mirror. You've probably had people say they miss you even though you weren't close, or they felt something change when you left, even if you left quietly. That's the impact of an integrated aura. When you're present, you're fully present. Your energy fills a space with awareness, compassion, or clarity. And when you're gone, that field disappears, and people feel the absence. Carl Jung described this as energetic memory, the way our presence becomes embedded in the unconscious of those around us. You don't have to be loud to be felt. You don't have to be seen to be remembered. Your aura leaves behind a feeling, a weight, a warmth, a shift that lingers. Some people can be in a room and never really show up. You show up, and even after you walk away, something of you stays. You don't just pass through life, you imprint, and that's a rare kind of legacy. Some people think of aura as a magical glow, a spiritual gift that some are born with. But the truth is more profound. Your aura is the result of everything you've lived through, everything you've survived, and everything you've chosen not to run from. You didn't get here by avoiding pain. You got here by walking straight into it. Carl Jung taught that wholeness only comes from integrating the parts of ourselves we'd rather avoid. And you did that work. You faced your shadow. You embraced your flaws. You sat in silence with your grief, your fear, your doubt, and you came back whole. That's what people feel when they're near you. Not perfection, not ego, but the strength of someone who's been through fire and emerged real. Your aura didn't come from books or crystals or mantras. It came from choosing truth over comfort, again and again, and that's why it's so powerful. You didn't ask for your aura to be powerful. You simply chose to be real. And in a world of pretense, that's revolutionary. Your presence reflects, it activates, it awakens. Sometimes it soothes, sometimes it unsettles, but always, it moves something. Have you ever felt that people react strongly to your presence, even without a word spoken? If this video resonates, you'll love what's next. Click now to watch. What happens to your soul after a spiritual awakening? And don't forget to comment below, "My aura speaks before I do." Let's see who among us carries that silent frequency.